Good evening. This is the Vsb TV 11 News for Wednesday, July 16th. I'm Peter Cattell. Our top story: the anti-racism group CURB is arguing that there is ample evidence to persuade Governor George Ferguson to launch a commission of inquiry into land theft in latter-day Bermuda. And its president, Mark Nash, is offering the group's resources to provide him with sufficient evidence to help him change his mind. The offer is contained in a statement read by Vsb News' Brian Darby.
Based upon numerous verbal and written testimonies and documented research, CURB is aware of many historical injustices visited upon the black community by the white oligarchy over the past centuries. However, there is anecdotal evidence that in the more recent decades of the 1950s through 1970s, collusion between bankers, lawyers and real estate agents may have also resulted in dispossession of land from a broader cross-section of Bermudians. Bermuda's elected representatives, as expressed through a majority vote in the House of Assembly, felt there was sufficient evidence to request a commission of inquiry into the issue. While CURB is in favor of providing the governor with more information to bring further clarity about the issue of stolen land in Bermuda, we respectfully ask that the Excellency consider his initial stance against a commission of inquiry. An independent commission of inquiry appointed by the governor would provide a framework for answering questions of historic injustices, free from the influence of those that may have participated in said injustices. Such a process would represent the beginning of a process for racial justice, healing and reconciliation that is sorely needed in Bermuda. Brian Darby reporting for Vsb News.
The controversial passing of a motion calling for a commission of inquiry into land dealings at Tucker's Point has seen critics question why the PLP had not raised the issue when they were in power. Now that has led to someone using Facebook to reprint a 3-year-old press report from the Royal Gazette on a Senate debate that saw then Environment Minister Senator David Burt promoting the SDO, which was designed to save the Rosewood Tucker's Point development. Vsb News' Charles Webb reads the text of the newspaper account, which appeared on Facebook.
On March 19, 2011, Junior Environmental Minister David Burt told the Senate of the government's sympathy for descendants of families who were forcibly removed from Tuckerstown in the 1920s. However, Senator Burt argued it's now government's job to look after the people of today, meaning it needs to try to revitalize tourism with the Rosewood Tucker's Point development. Anti-racism group CURB had objected to the special development order for the hotel's expansion, pointing to the history of the site, where dozens of mainly black families were evicted more than 80 years ago in the interest of tourism development backed by Parliament. Opening yesterday's debate in the Senate, Senator Burt said government hears and understands the cries of those campaigners. But he added, "We are unable to undo the past, but we can certainly take the steps to ensure the future well-being of our people." For Vsb News, I'm Charles Webb.
Following an investigation and analysis by the Department of Health, it has been discovered that a device that has become available in Bermuda, called the hemp VAP device, contravenes the Misuse of Drugs Act and leaves the user open to prosecution. The device uses a liquid in its atomizer that is tested positive for the presence of the primary ingredient in the controlled drug cannabis, known as delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC. THC is responsible for the high felt after consumption, and users are warned that possession, importation or sale of THC-containing products contravene the Misuse of Drugs Act 1972. The kit has been imported primarily as a medical aid for cancer patients and is not believed to be available in pharmacies. 35 of his 46 years in the Progressive Labour Party were spent in Parliament and 3 in the Senate. At the age of 81, Reginald Burrows has acquired that wisdom that when he speaks, most people listen. Tonight he shares some of his concerns with VSB's Charles Webb.
Our biggest problem in Bermuda, and it's been like this for years, is racism. That's our biggest problem. I would have thought, I would have hoped, I should say, that the PL people in power, people would have been able to change things a bit. But as far as I'm concerned, very little has changed. And I can remember back in 1959, I listened to a speech from A. Philip Randolph in Dayton, Ohio. And he said, the scourge of the 21st century will be racism. And he was completely right.
And this racism actually envelops everything we do.
That's right. That's right. And that's basically what it's all about.
Now, you and I mean, we're of the generation that we didn't go to school with white people,
right.
so we never really got to know them until we actually went abroad, most of the cases.
That's right. That's right.
But the kids today have a different situation.
Yes.
They know them.
Yes.
Is our political system in sync with our young people?
I don't think so. Because I think our young folks are much more liberal than a lot of us were. Because as you say, they've been involved, and we were not involved. You know, they go to school together, and they go to parties together, and things of that sort. I would have thought of going to school or party when I was coming along.
How can you see us moving forward as a I don't say as a country, as an island, where we can work together?
I think the most important thing is having respect and confidence in the people you're dealing with. That's the most important thing. I think respect in Bermuda, really, over the years, respect has gotten worse. Although we were segregated when we were coming along, we were respectful. And the youngsters today are not segregated, but they're not that respectful. I can tell you that much. Yeah.
So I mean, but when you say, for example, you take like a march on the governor's house and to say he should be recalled and you call a liar, etc., I'm not persuaded that is bringing about the respect that we want to teach these kids, is it?
It's probably not. It's probably not. It's probably not, really. Because whether we like it or not, the governor is the head of state, and he demands a certain amount of respect.
Mr. Burrows says blacks in Bermuda have been keen to integrate, but whites generally have not been that keen. And he hopes that one day we can all get together for the good of Bermuda. Still ahead on the TV 11 News is Valentina with the weather preview.
Thank you, Peter. A few showers were the risk of thunder through tonight. Stay tuned for full details.
The weather radar picture provided courtesy of the Ministry of Transport on Vsb Tv 11.
For your Cut Match picnic, save half price on Dole coleslaw. $1.99 for a 14-ounce bag. Frozen baby back pork spare ribs, $2.99 per pound. Rush on your favorite ribs. Kraft barbecue sauce, $1.69 for an 18-ounce bottle. 3.75-ounce bag, all varieties. Wise potato chips, just $1.49. Breyer's ice cream, $6.29 for all varieties of 48-ounce tubs. Visit our website at www.marketplace.pm for more Super Cut Match specials.
If you've been the victim of an uninsured or hit-and-run driver, your medical and other expenses may not be covered by your insurance. The good news is, there is coverage. The Motor Insurers Fund can provide you with compensation to help you through the crisis, whether suffering from physical injury, loss of wages, or extra expense incurred as a result of your injuries. For further information about the Motor Insurers Fund, visit mif.bm or call 505-8555. The Motor Insurers Fund, assurance after the unexpected.
Direct from London, England, at the 3rd annual Bermuda Peace Day concert, The Silken Strings. Classical and contemporary music played on electric glass violins. Beautiful, musical, sexy and talented. The Silken Strings at the Bermuda Peace Day concert. Buy your tickets or table before July 31st and save 10% at www.ptix.bm.
This portion of the VSB News is brought to you in part by Bermuda Pest Control. For commercial and residential pest control, providing island-wide service. For free inspections and estimates, call 232-PEST. That's 232-7378.
The medical needs of 5% of Bermuda's population are using up to 75% of its healthcare budget each year. A shocking figure that demonstrates the need for a wellness campaign in the community, according to Ralph Richardson, CEO of the Bermuda Hospital Charitable Trust.
There are ways to do that. There's always been ways for Americans to contribute to some of the charities in Bermuda. But this is direct. This is a charity that was set up specifically to support wellness in Bermuda. And it's a bit broader than just the hospital. For the first 3 years, the majority of the funds will go towards this project that we're doing now at the hospital. But it'll also support a greater wellness initiative, which is really focusing on helping people not to use a hospital. There's some alarming statistics that are available online. One report that was quoted in the Bermuda Sun that said of the 30 top earning countries in the world, Bermuda topped them in diabetes. We topped them in amputations related to diabetes for women, and we came second for men next to the United States. And also there are comorbidity problems. And we discovered through these reports that 5% of the people in Bermuda use 75% of the healthcare costs, and that's because of ill health. And I think the broader initiative, which was mentioned there in New York and also one Saturday night, is a wellness initiative. We need to make Bermudians healthy, and that's going to be a part of the ongoing programs that will be carried out.
Well, your work goes on. I know that the deadline doesn't really count, but it's there.
Well, the deadline does count. We have a new deadline now. The first was to get your names on the donor wall and to get your bricks in for the opening. Well, now we have another deadline, and that's August 22nd. That will be the end of the campaign to raise that final $20 million. We sent a check for $20 million to the hospital recently, and shortly we will be expected by the end of September to make the final payment. And so we're going to continue the campaign now. Everyone in Bermuda is going to receive a flyer delivered to their home, and it'll give everyone a chance to participate.
Independent parliamentarian Terry Lister questioned Attorney General Trevor Moniz about the way that the sex offenders register is being used at the last meeting of Parliament, and it transpired that both men agree that there is no easy solution.
Mr. Speaker, what you've seen in this exchange is the importance of this issue and the fact that it has to be handled very carefully. And I've talked with the Minister about this at length, and I do believe that the approach taken is the approach we need to take. Reports elsewhere and here, I guess, show that some 90% plus of all sex offenses are committed, sex offenders, in this case that we're looking at, are committed by close relatives or family friends of the victim. What steps will be taken to ensure that the victims are not identified through the existence of the register?
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
The Honourable Member's put his finger on perhaps one of the most difficult questions in this area of law, because what can happen is that within the family, in an effort to protect the victim, quite often the perpetrator is also protected. And these matters quite often are not best dealt with ultimately. I'm not precluding activity through the criminal court, but ultimately there needs to be a lot of counseling, therapy, etc. within families to correct this behavior. But obviously if someone has predilection for interfering with children that they know who are within their family, people must step forward and take action. It's not going to help. Don't be mistaken to protect the victim and end up protecting the perpetrator. That is a situation that none of us want to see. So people within families, I think, must be braver to step forward, to have a criminal prosecution, and to get the counseling that the family needs. And ultimately, that's going to be the best course of action. So people must be prepared to speak out.
Now, here's a look at the daily markets, presented by Bias.
Here are the daily markets presented by Bias. Global equity markets rose on Wednesday as strong China growth data and potential big deals in the United States boosted investor sentiment. U.S. stocks advanced with benchmark indexes trading near all-time highs as companies from Time Warner Incorporated to Intel Corporation rallied amid deals and earnings reports. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.45% to 17,138. On the Bermuda Stock Exchange, 4,000 shares of Ascendant Group traded hands at $6.50, 4% higher than the previous close. 4,400 shares of BF&M traded at $16.80, and 18,000 shares of Keytech traded at $3.75. European stocks advanced the most since April as Portuguese banks led a rally by Eurozone lenders. The FTSE 100 rose 1.11% to 6,785 points, while Italy's Milan IB rose 3.17% to 21,070 points. Pacific Rim indices were mixed as a report showed China's economy expanded at a better-than-expected rate. The Nikkei fell 0.1% to 15,379 points. Hong Kong's Hang Seng ended 0.27 higher at 23,523. Latin American indices ended lower with Brazil's Ibovespa down 0.49% on speculation that a rally drove the Ibovespa's valuation to a 7-month high may have been excessive. The difference between 5- and 10-year yields narrowed as Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen told lawmakers monetary stimulus is still required, while increases in interest rates may occur sooner if the economy accelerates. The U.S. dollar rose versus most major trading partners as wholesale prices in the U.S. rose more than forecast, and the Fed saw modest to moderate growth in June. That was a look at the daily markets presented by Bias. More news after the break.
Start grilling this cup match with Purdue fresh chicken thighs or drumsticks, $1.99 per pound. Juicy whole seedless watermelons, $12.99 each. For your mac and cheese dish, Catelli macaroni, $1.89 for a 500-gram box. Save $1.71 on Libby's mayonnaise, $4.09 for a 32-ounce jar. For the holiday, 6-packs, regular or Diet Coke, $4.99. Have a safe and enjoyable cup match holiday from the marketplace.
You can count on us.
Copyfax is Samsung's authorized dealer service center in Bermuda. If you're looking for a tablet, Copyfax have a range of Samsung's Tab 3, 5 and 7. They have Samsung's ATIV Book, which has a 15.6-inch screen. And the ATIV One computer has a 24-inch touch screen. Be sure you're buying from an authorized Samsung dealer. In Bermuda, it's Copyfax Limited, 96 North Shore Road. They service what they sell. Now at Big Savings Zone, there's the Kids Zone. See the latest bedroom ideas for tots to teens. There's a large selection of beds, bedding, all kind of furniture designed especially in mind for your child. And see the array of accessories for all ages. Big Savings Zone is the home of Ashley Furniture and Serta Mattresses in Bermuda. And the Kids Zone is only at Big Savings Zone, at the end of Stocks Road, St. David's.
The Philatelic Bureau of the Bermuda Post Office has released a new commemorative stamp issue called Bermuda in Bloom, Part 1, which captures the striking beauty and abundance of Bermuda flora that helps create a large part of the island's charm and tranquility. While Bermuda can boast only a few endemic plants of its own, quite a number of the current species that beautify the gardens are native, and many hundreds have been introduced deliberately and accidentally from other countries. The 5 stamps featured in this, the first of a series of 3 issues, are yellow alamanda, frangipani, bougainvillea, coral tree, and skyflower. Official first-day covers are available priced at $12. Bermuda's strength as a financial center was a major factor in an island law firm receiving one of the legal fraternity's top awards. Conyers, Dill and Pearman Limited surpassed 7 shortlisted law firms to be named Offshore Law Firm of the Year. The award was given by Chambers and Partners, publishers of the world's foremost guides to the legal profession. Co-chair of Conyers, Dill and Pearman, Narinder Hargan, says the success his firm has experienced demonstrates that despite the recent recession, Bermuda continues to be a leading financial center, and it is that strength that has made our award possible. The sports report is next, after the break.
The celebration of a Bermuda cricket legend is brought to you by Belco, Lindo's, Bex, Butterfield & Vallis, BAC, Colonial Insurance, Corona, Bermuda Bistro, and BF&M. Clarence Tuppence Parford has long been considered the very best bowler Bermuda has ever produced. He played his first cup match in 1965 for St. George's Cricket Club. His left-arm medium pace was a menace for all the Somerset batsmen from the time he started playing until the year he retired from the Classic in 1981. In 1976, Clarence was the first person to take 9 wickets in one inning and the second person to take 100 wickets in the Summer Classic. To date, he has claimed the most wickets in the annual Classic, racking up a total of 115 wickets between 1965 and 1981. In 1988, Clarence left Bermuda to play professional cricket in Scotland and today is employed as a cricket development officer in Scotland and spends his time developing the talents and skills of the youth. Clarence Tuppence Parford, celebrating a Bermuda cricket legend.
Now, here's Earl Baisden with a look at sports.
The 2014 Caribbean Junior Squash Championships continued at the Bermuda Squash Rackets Association Club last evening with individual finals taking place. Charlotte Knaggs from Trinidad won the girls under-19 title, needing 4 sets to defeat Akila Witshaw from Guyana, 7-11, 11-2, 11-7, 11-7. Julian Morrison won the All-Jamaica Boys under-19 final with a straight sets 11-8, 12-10, 11-6 victory over Jake Mahfood. Megan Best from Barbados defeated Maya Mahfood from Jamaica in the girls under-13 final, while Kamal Cumberbatch, also from Barbados, won the boys under-13 final. Amanda Haywood from Barbados won the under-15 girls final, while Josiah Griffith from Barbados won the under-15 boys title. Bermuda came up 4 goals short in their latest FIL 2014 World Lacrosse Championship match, a 26-goal thriller against Hong Kong, falling 15-11. Bermuda got 4 goals from Douglas Bell, 2 from Drew Jenkins and Tucker Moore. Stephen Michael, James Chapita, and Quinn McCowan all scored a goal each. Naki Wells and his Huddersfield Town teammates won 3-1 against Cyprus AEL in a private game in a preseason match. Wells scored the first goal for Huddersfield. The Bermuda Amateur Swimming Association have updated their short course meter records following the Barry Henson Open meet held at the Bassa Pool. In the 11-12 girls, Emma Harvey now holds the 100-meter butterfly record after touching the wall in a time of 108.53, breaking her own record of 108.78 she set back on March 23rd earlier this year. In the boys 15-16 age group, Jesse Washington set a new 100-meter freestyle record with a time of 53.67, breaking Benedict Parfit's record of 54.76 set on May 16, 2010. The 2014 Disney International Cup is underway with Hamilton Parish, Dandytown Hornets, and ABC Valencia all taking part. Playing in the boys 10 and under Disney Cup International Silver Bracket 3, the Dandytown Hornets went down 5-0. In the same division, but in Bracket 1, ABC Valencia won their second game in a row, defeating Trinity County 2-0. ABC Valencia went down in their boys under 11 Silver Division second game 4-2 against North Channel Revolution. Dandytown Hornets fell 5-0 to the Foxhall All-Star Rangers in the boys under 12 division. Hamilton Parish, playing in bracket 2, won their second straight game, defeating San Augustine FC 3-0. ABC Valencia's under-12 team won 3-2 over Monte Lambino, while the Dandy Stars won their girls under-14 game 6-0 over Impact. I'm Earl Baisden reporting for VSB Sports.
Outlast any storm with the most advanced alkaline battery. This weather segment is brought to you by Duracell Quantum.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Vsb TV 11 Weather Report brought to you by the Bermuda Weather Service. I'm Valentina Holland. And taking a look at the shot sent in today by Tristan Martin. This was taken at 4 o'clock as a view from Newstead of the Hamilton Harbor. And as you can see, that gray cloud just hanging over the harbor there. It kind of depicts our stormy day today. Thanks, Tristan, for sending that in. High today was 81 degrees at 12 noon, and the low was 75 at 8 in the morning. Currently, 79 degrees. Humidity is at 80%. Winds southerly at 15 to 35 knots. Barometric pressure is unsteady at 30.11 inches. Rainfall, so far 0.95 inches for July. Total is for the years 27.59 inches, and normally we would have seen 29.13 inches thus far. And taking a look at the satellite, as a trough moves across the area, a few showers with a risk of thunder and moderate to strong winds will continue into Thursday morning. High pressure gradually builds across the area Thursday evening, with mainly fair conditions returning for the weekend. And gateway cities, in Atlanta, mostly sunny, 86 degrees. Boston, partly cloudy, 81. 86 in Charlotte, partly cloudy. London, partly cloudy, 82. Miami, possible thunderstorms, 90 degrees. And New York, mostly sunny, 82 degrees. Orlando, thunderstorms are likely at 93. 84 in Philadelphia, mostly sunny. Toronto, partly cloudy, 73 degrees. And 86 in Washington, partly cloudy. And back at home tonight, cloudy with a few showers, risk of thunder decreasing later, and low near 75. Winds are southerly, 12 to 30 knots, and gusts up to 40 knots, higher in exposed areas, and will decrease 18 to 24 knots. Tomorrow, sunny periods, a few morning showers, decreasing by afternoon with a high near 83, and the winds out of the south, 15 to 20 knots, and decreasing 12 to 18 knots. Mariners report for tonight, there is a small craft warning in effect and a thunderstorm advisory. Seas inside the reef are 1 to 3 feet, outside are 6 to 9 feet, and the sea surface temperature is 84 degrees. And Mariners for tomorrow, small craft warning is in effect through the afternoon, thunderstorm advisory through the morning. Seas inside the reef are 1 to 2 feet, outside are 6 to 9 feet. The low tide is at 7:21 a.m. and the high tide is at 1:24 p.m. And for your 5-day forecast, on Friday, mix of sun and cloud with 1 or 2 morning showers, high near 84. Saturday, partly cloudy, high near 85. Sunday, mix of sun and cloud, high near 85. And Monday, mostly sunny, 85 degrees. And that concludes our weather report. Thank you to Fred Byerly and the Bermuda Weather Service. Have a great evening.
Outlast any storm with the most advanced alkaline battery. Today's weather forecast was brought to you by Duracell Quantum.
Thanks for tuning in to the TV 11 News. Good night.
Peter Cattell's attire courtesy of A.S. Cooper & Sons Limited. Wardrobe and makeup for Valentina Holland, provided by Gibbons Company.
VSB TV 11, Bermuda.